don't know about all of you, but I've been experiencing so many more comments and activity from the Sussex Squad, and I have some ideas about what's going on. I also want to talk about why do they just attack people and not talk about the logic behind the point that's being made. This is what I'm going to get into this video. Before we begin, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. So there have been many YouTubers that have showed us how a lot of Meghan's followers are bots. And I believe this. I believe this completely. I've noticed I keep getting really nasty and negative comments a lot more recently, which to me indicates that perhaps more bots were purchased lately. Perhaps more money has fallen into their hands, allegedly. And the weird thing is, the evidence will be right in front of these people, but they just don't see it. Like, I would hate if they were ever on a jury and they just disregard evidence. Like, multiple clips where Meghan is clearly not letting Harry get in front of her when she shoots Harry a dirty look. These are obvious things when she points at that girl during the polo match. These are obvious. Like, how can you deny what's going on? I don't get it. Instead of trying to go for the logic and prove me wrong about what is showing in the video, they try to come for my character. So, what they do is they don't debate the facts, they attack people. Interestingly, this is a classic narcissistic manipulation tactic, and it's known as an ad hominem attack, where instead of addressing an argument, they attack the person making it. So, what I'll do in this video is I'll talk about how Meghan uses these tactics and how the Sussex Squad mirrors her behavior. I also want to talk about how you might be experiencing this in your life, in romantic relationships, family, friendships, and the workplace. So, let's talk about this. Ultimately, the Sussex Squad are flying monkeys and they are agents of Meghan. They are there to do Meghan's job when Meghan doesn't have to do it. It allows Meghan to avoid accountability for the Sussex Squad's action. Meghan rarely directly refutes criticism. Instead, she or her PR team attack the person questioning her, cry victim and deflect, or they use labels with the ist word to silence people. So instead of refuting bullying accusations, she calls them attacks on a strong woman of color. Instead of addressing why archetypes failed, she and Harry blame Spotify for not being innovative enough. Instead of proving her charity work is effective, she makes it about how unfairly she was treated compared to Princess Catherine. Bottom line, Meghan doesn't engage with facts, she discredits the messenger. And her Sussex Squad, they do the same thing. They are her flying monkeys. They never argue facts. They go after the person that's speaking. They label people with all of those is names. They also call us jealous, bitter, or mentally unstable. This jealousy one I don't get, because what is there to be jealous of? I I really don't know. And a lot of them think that we wanted Prince Harry, and it's like, dude, no. He looks like a very difficult man to have as a partner. And, he has admitted to the use of substances in his book. Like, I don't want to be romantically tied to that. But anyways, these are just my opinions. And also the Sussex Squad, they stalk and harass people who challenge Meghan's narrative. So instead of debating timelines or inconsistencies, they call us certain names. I've actually been called a Karen, which I don't necessarily get, but whatever. When experts fact check her, they dig up old tweets or they call them irrelevant. They mass report accounts that criticize Meghan using online mob tactics to silence opposition. Bottom line, their entire defense of Meghan is built on personal attacks and not logic. You don't have to deal with Meghan to experience these ad hominem attacks on flying monkeys. You've probably seen this happen in your relationships, romantic, family, friendships, or at work. You call out a partner's lies or manipulation, and instead of addressing the issue, they attack you. For example, you say, "You lied about where you were last night," and they respond, "You're paranoid and insecure. No wonder your ex left you." Or you might say, I need more emotional support in this relationship. And they respond, You're just needy and dramatic. Maybe if you weren't so difficult, I'd be more supportive. Instead of discussing the issue, they attack your character and make you the problem. In a family, you could have toxic family members that use these attacks to maintain control and shut down valid criticism. You could say, I didn't like how you talked to me at the family dinner. And they respond, You're too sensitive. You've always been the problem in this family. Or you could call out favoritism. Why do you treat my sibling better than me? And they respond, Oh, so now you're playing the victim again? You've always been jealous. They never engage with the actual complaint. They gaslight you into thinking you are the issue. You may have also experienced this in friendships. Jealous or manipulative friends use personal attacks when they feel threatened. So you could say to them, I didn't appreciate how you embarrassed me in front of everyone. And they respond, Wow, you're so dramatic. No wonder people find you exhausting. Or you call them out for gossiping about you. You say, Why did you tell everyone my personal business? And they respond, If you weren't so sensitive, it wouldn't be a big deal. You love playing the victim. And what's happening in these examples is instead of apologizing, they attack your personality. In professional settings, narcissists attack character to discredit critics or competition. You could say, I think we should improve communication on this project. And they respond, You're just not a team player. Maybe you're not cut out for leadership. You question a policy. Why did you take credit for my work? And they respond, Maybe if you weren't so entitled, people would actually respect you here. Instead of addressing valid concerns, they frame you as difficult and not the team player. So, why do narcissists and flying monkeys use these tactics? They serve one purpose, and it is to avoid accountability. It causes distraction from the real issue. It makes you feel small, so you stop questioning them, and it turns others against you before they start questioning too. Narcissists can't argue facts, so they argue against the person instead. Here are a couple tips to protect yourself from these attacks. Number one, stick to the facts. Don't engage with personal insults. Stay on the topic. Number two, call out the deflection. Say, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the issue. Third, set boundaries. If someone refuses to have a respectful conversation, disengage. Fourth, don't fall for guilt trips. Toxic people want you to feel bad, so you'll back down. And finally, document workplace incidents. If this happens at work, keep records in case you need HR support. Going back to Meghan and the Sussex Squad, Meghan doesn't debate facts, she discredits people, and her flying monkeys copy this behavior using online bullying to silence critics. You may have also experienced this in your life with partners, family, friends, or coworkers. I want to go through a couple of the statements that the Sussex Squad say to us and explain why they just aren't logical. The first one, and probably the most common one, is the you're the R word. This is an ad hominem attack. Instead of refuting the argument, they attack your character by labeling you as the R word. This shifts the conversation from Megan's behavior to defending yourself against a serious accusation, and it forces you to try to prove a negative, which is impossible. This is an intimidation tactic. So, what's the connection to narcissism? Narcissists use moral superiority as a shield to avoid accountability. If you question them, they paint you as evil, hateful, or bigoted so that they can shut you down. And this is exactly how Megan frames all criticism as the R word instead of addressing valid concerns. The second one we hear from them, you're just jealous. This is also an ad hominem attack and is meant to appeal to emotion. It avoids engaging with the argument by reducing your opinion to jealousy. It implies that Megan is above criticism because she is successful and you are not. This creates a false dichotomy. Either you love Megan or you must be jealous of her. It assumes the motive behind your criticism instead of debating the actual points. So, how is this connected to narcissism? Narcissists assume everyone envies them because they inflate their own importance. Instead of considering real feedback, they dismiss criticism as jealousy to protect their ego. If someone criticizes Jeff Bezos, are they jealous of his money? If someone dislikes a movie, are they jealous of the director? No, not necessarily. People can dislike someone without wanting to be them. A third one we hear from the Sussex Squad, and this one is hilarious. It is, "You're just mad you didn't marry Harry." This is based on a false premise. This misrepresents your argument by suggesting your dislike for Meghan is about personal rejection. It creates a ridiculous false premise, as if every critic secretly wanted to marry Prince Harry. It turns the debate into a personal issue instead of discussing Meghan's actions. This is something that we see in narcissists as well. They believe all negative reactions toward them come from personal grievances and not their own behaviors. Instead of asking, "Why do people dislike me?" they say, "They just wish they were me." Megan herself has implied people hate her because they wanted to be her, just like a narcissist would. If someone criticizes Blake Lively, does that mean they want to marry Ryan Reynolds? I don't think so. So, this is just a way to discredit the person instead of addressing the issue. And finally, we hear the one, "You need therapy, you need help." This is an ad hominem attack and it's gaslighting. Instead of engaging with the argument, they insult your mental health to discredit you. It implies that your criticism isn't valued because you're not mentally well. This is a common gaslighting tactic, implying someone is crazy so they start doubting their own reality. Even if you were in therapy, that has nothing to do with Megan's actions. This is something I've seen so many times actually with narcissists. They paint critics as crazy or unstable to silence them. Instead of addressing problems, they convince others that the critic is the problem. So, a couple of real world examples. If a whistleblower exposes corporate corruption, is it fair to say you just need therapy instead of investigating the corruption? If someone speaks out against a narcissistic ex, should we dismiss them by saying you're just bitter, go to therapy? No, this is just a manipulative way to silence truth tellers. If you find yourself in a debate with a narcissist or their flying monkeys, here are some things you could do. If they attack you, redirect back to the issue. Call out their deflection. Ask them, "You still haven't addressed my argument. Why is that?" Use logic and not emotion. And you could also say to them, "Attacking me doesn't change the facts." So I'm going to ask all of you, does this resonate with you? If it does, and you feel comfortable sharing, please drop that in the comments. I wanted to add a hypothetical story because I feel like this illustrates what we talk about so well. I usually talk about romantic relationships in these stories, but this time I'm going to make it a workplace scenario. The story is titled "The Office Narcissist and the Smear Campaign." Meet Sarah. She works in marketing and has been pulling extra weight on a major project because her team lead, Lisa, isn't doing her job. Sarah finally speaks up. She tells their boss that Lisa hasn't been completing tasks, which is affecting the entire team. Instead of addressing the issue, Lisa goes full Meghan Markle. Lisa doesn't argue the facts. She doesn't prove she's done the work or refute Sarah's claims. Instead, she starts attacking Sarah personally. Lisa's response to their boss included the following statements: "Sarah is just trying to make me look bad because she's jealous of my position. She's always been a complainer. Ask anyone. She's too aggressive. I don't feel safe working with her." Lisa starts telling all of these statements to her friends at work, and they all start whispering about Sarah, questioning her attitude and alienating her. Now Sarah is isolated. She was right about Lisa, but instead of being taken seriously, she's now painted as difficult and bitter. So, this story is a great example of how narcissists don't defend themselves with facts, but they smear and attack the person exposing them. This is exactly how Megan and the Sussex Squad operate online. So, I'm curious to know what you all think about this. Have you experienced this type of behavior? If you feel comfortable, please share that in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. I want to thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate the support beyond anything. And I mean that, I really do. You all make my day. I will talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone.